Welcome to another edition of Green is Good, and we're so excited today to have Ben Simon on with us. He's the founder and executive director of the Food Recovery Network. Welcome to Green is Good, Ben Simon.
Hey, John. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, this is just an honor. You are one of the young sustainability superstars on this planet. So we're so excited to have you here. Before we get into your great website and what you're doing with Food Recovery Network, first of all, I want our listeners to follow along. If you have a laptop, a tablet, a computer in front of you, go to Ben's great website, foodrecoverynetwork.org. Ben, you're still in college, man. How did you even come up with this idea? And talk a little bit about your childhood and your youth. Was this a dream of yours, or is this something you thought up along the way?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a senior at the University of Maryland, College Park. And go Terps.
Go Terps.
So we started the program a couple years ago in fall of 2011, and we basically just noticed really good, delicious food from our campus dining halls going to waste at the end of the day. And, I personally have been involved in a lot of hunger and homelessness service projects, been out in the community. I knew there was a tremendous need in the D.C. area, PG County, where the school is located. And it was just a shame to see this really, really good food be going to waste while there's people right down the street going hungry. And so we got our friends together, and we basically approached the campus dining hall and said, hey, is there any way we can feed people with this and not feed landfills? And so a few weeks later, we got the program up and running, and it was amazing to see how much food we were donating right off the bat. 100 pounds, 200 pounds every single night. Really good food, everything. And it was just amazing. And from there, we've spread, and now 2 years later, we're at 23 college campuses across the country.
Wow.
And we've donated over 165,000 pounds of food so far.
Let me just ask this, though, because we have so many young listeners around the world. This is on SiriusXM, this airs. And then after that, of course, it gets uploaded to the iTunes network, and we get tens of thousands of downloads besides the great listeners on SiriusXM, Ben. And there's a lot of young people that want to follow in your footsteps. Talk a little bit about that part of the journey. Was mom and dad like greenies, or was your grandpa or grandma, or was there something in you? Were you born with some sort of sustainable DNA? How did this happen?
I've always loved the environment. I think everybody on my team, my co-founding team, not only cares about hunger, but we care about the environment, and we see the connection between them. And all throughout high school, I had been doing various things around the environment. I helped my school save tons of money on energy just by cutting down the lights and also by revamping our high school's recycling program. And I've always cared about the issue, done whatever I could about the issue. I can't believe, our planet is in this state where it's just, kind of live or die with global warming. It's honestly in such a pressing issue in society, and we really aren't talking about it that much and treating it like it should be treated.
So you talk about this planet. How big of an environmental issue is food waste, and how much food goes to waste in the United States?
Food waste is one of the biggest environmental issues and one of the least talked about, actually. A lot of people don't know this, but food is actually America's number one waste stream, the number one thing filling up landfills in America. 40% of the food in America ends up in landfills. It's absolutely ridiculous. Literally enough food every single day to fill the Rose Bowl football stadium.
Wow.
So it's a huge, huge issue. And not only that, but, to talk about environmental impacts, when the food gets to the landfills, it gives off methane, as you probably know, which the EPA estimates is 21 times more harmful than carbon dioxide.
Wow. And is this just a problem that's inherent to the United States, or is food waste an international problem?
It's absolutely a global issue.
And, I'm on your website. And again, for our listeners, you got a beautiful website, Ben. It's so easy to navigate. It has chock full of information. It's foodrecoverynetwork.org. What I see at the header on it, which I love, not only is your logo a cool logo, by the way, but it says here, 166,354 pounds of food donated since the inception of your organization, September 2011. That's incredible.
Thank you.
I mean, so what's going on here? So are there paradigms that you've learned from? Are other countries or other cities doing it better than we are doing it here, and you're taking notice of those and learning from them and bringing that methodology here? Or are you just learning this along the way, since this is something that this is a road no one's really traveled before here in America? How are you really putting this together?
Well, we've really sort of borrowed from a lot of really awesome organizations that have been out there
right.
For decades doing this great work, inspiring us. There's City Harvest in New York City was one of the very first food recovery programs. DC Central Kitchen in DC, and now Robert Egger, who's the founder of DC Central Kitchen and member of our advisory board, is now moving out to LA to create a program out there. There's Food Donation Connection. They're actually one of the largest food recovery programs. Feeding America does a lot of great food recovery. So we didn't really invent food recovery.
Right.
We basically just realized that almost every single college campus, and we estimate that over 75% of them are still throwing out all of their extra food.
Wow.
And so we noticed this huge gap in the market, and at the same time, students obviously are so passionate. They care about the environment. We're all environmentalists on college campuses. And that this would be a pretty easy thing to spread.
That's okay, so now, so far since your inception, in 2 short years, you've landed already 23 colleges.
Right.
So, you have another year, you're a senior this year. How many more college campuses do you think you could get in the next year or so?
We have a goal of getting up to 75 colleges.
Wow.
So just to cue you in, so
yeah.
For the past 2 years, we've been doing this completely volunteer run.
Yeah.
Me and about 8 other co-founders or so have been working, and they've all been at other college campuses all across the country. So our main method of meeting has actually been video chat, and we haven't even met some of our co-founders in person. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
But we actually just got a really major investment from Sodexo Foundation for $150,000 to go full-time with this work. And to basically spread this across the country. So, I mean, if we've been able to start 23 chapters in 2 years through volunteerism, I really hope we can start 52, which is our goal for this year, with a full-time staff of 4. So,
and are college campuses creating more? Are there sustainability offices on these campuses now? Are colleges getting greener than ever? Is your generation on fire for sustainability and green like none other? The one that you're seeing your class right now, is everyone really into it like you are?
I wouldn't say everybody, but I would say overall it's gotten better and better. And almost every college campus that we work on does have a sustainability office, and often the sustainability officers can be some of our biggest allies to get a new program started on campus, and can really help us get in the door with dining, who is eventually who we have to persuade. And I would say that food recovery is one of the single biggest things that college sustainability offices can do to advance sustainability that's kind of untapped. I mean, there's always increasing the recycling rates and composting and so much like that.
Right.
But this is really, really, I mean, we're actually just in the middle of a huge impact metrics project to calculate exactly what our environmental impact is in terms of, gallons of water, oil, our carbon footprint that we've reduced with food recovery. But it's already just proven to be just amazing in terms of the crazy environmental impact. So much goes into food to get it to where it is in the dining halls.
Wow. And what's your ultimate goal? When you get out of college, you're going to stick with this, and you're going to stick with Food Recovery Network and continue to grow it?
Absolutely. And I'm already full-time now as a college student. So, our vision is to create Food Recovery Nation and just have, we literally want to reach 1,000 college campuses in the next 5 years. We've been building some awesome national partnerships with Sodexo, with Bon Appetit, with some of these major college food service providers to basically get us kind of pre-approved for all the campuses they're on. We've got this awesome growth plan, awesome staff we're building. We've got this vision, and we don't want to stop at college campuses either.
Ben,
America has a huge problem.
All right. So talk about that, Ben. Talk about expanding beyond college campuses. Where would you go then? Would it just be then going to what would be the next logical step after you get 1,000 colleges? Because I believe you will.
Thank you, John. Well, we have a few things going for us. So right now, we're actually working with Montgomery County, Maryland, which is where I'm based, and to create one of the first county-wide food recovery programs in the country. And it's kind of a pilot for us. Our core mission is on college campuses, but we help to inspire this other program, which has grown way beyond Food Recovery Network, this whole big effort. And it got funded for another $200,000 to create a county-wide program in Montgomery County. And if it's successful, we've already talked to a few other neighboring county executives, so we can go county by county that way. And another big thing we want to do is to change a lot of these awful corporate policies. I'll tell you a little story. Our University of Maryland chapter, where I go, used to donate from Panda Express in the food court, and it was going really great for a few months. We donated hundreds of pounds of food. Awesome. Everybody loved the program. But then their corporate office heard about it and shut the program down because they, like many other corporations, have a national policy of not participating in food recovery. Not because it's a bad business decision, because it's actually a great business decision. They're free from liability. They can get tax write-offs, good PR.
Sure.
It's a great business decision for them, but they don't know it is. So we want to educate them and build up an advocacy force to challenge these corporate policies and basically create a new national norm of food recovery.
That is so great. For our listeners out there, we're down to the last 3 minutes or so, Ben, and we have lots of young listeners across America and across the world, actually. How can they get involved? If they listen to this show and they hear you talking about this wonderful organization that you've created and co-founded, how can they get in contact with you and help grow the movement?
Well, like you said, they can check out our website.
Yeah.
The number one thing that they can do to advance this is to start a chapter at their college. It's a pretty easy process. Takes anywhere between 4 to 10 weeks. That's basically what we do, is provide advice for college students. We've got a whole toolkit. We've got grants for them. We make it very easy for them to start a new chapter. So to take this and to spread our movement, tell their friends about it, and get involved that way is really the number one way. And we really need them. This whole vision that I've talked about, really, they're the heart and soul of it, is the student out there that's just hearing this and it's like, wow, this is cool. Let me tell my friends and get in touch with Food Recovery Network. Right.
And for the young people out there that want to be the next Ben Simon, what advice do you have for young ecopreneurs in waiting that that want to get up every morning and feel like they're changing the world?
I would say start today. Start today. Start now. Throw yourself into something that you care about. Learn as many lessons as you can and meet as many people as you can as possible. And think big. Go for really bold, new ideas, because you're young. And if it doesn't work out, you can always wake up the next day and do something else.
That's great advice. And for our listeners out there, to learn more about Ben's great organization, it's foodrecoverynetwork.org. It's just so full of great information and ways to connect with Ben and with also different chapters and how to even start a new chapter. So foodrecoverynetwork.org. Ben Simon, the world needs more Ben Simons, and I'm so honored to have you on today, and we wish you the best of luck. We're going to continue to cover your story and have you back on once you get out of college and once you continue to grow this great network that you founded. So please come back on Green is Good and share the story as it evolves. Ben Simon, you are an inspiring food recovery leader and truly living proof that Green is good.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to spread the word.